What is up guys, Mrwhosetheboss here, and this is my full review of the Pipo W4. Coming in at just $89, this is in the ultra budget part of the market. Let's see what it can do. On paper, the W4 is set to amaze. Coming in at $89, it actually provides a high-definition 8-inch display, a quad-core Intel Atom processor, 1GB of RAM, and Windows 8.1. It also has a front camera, a rear camera, HDMI out, and Bluetooth. That's a lot of features for not a lot of money. So let's start with the build of the device. So as you can see, it's got quite a nice understated look to it. It's not trying to be too flashy, but at the same time it's trying to have a very cheap body which gets the job done. It has a TF card slot, a headphone jack, a micro USB port for charging, and an HDMI which works extremely well and outputs a 720p. So the actual back is a matte plastic. It feels comfortable to hold in the hand, not exactly extremely premium, but it's nice enough and doesn't make too much creaking. So they have the volume rocker on the top as well as the on and off button, both of which are responsive, tactile, and easy to feel. I quite like the way the W4 looks. It's clearly not an eye-catching flagship, but it doesn't look at all bad. The colour choice is fine, the actual design, it's okay, a little bit sort of, plain, but I think it's quite good for this price. It could have done a lot worse. The body is extremely resilient with nary a creak even when you try and bend it. It's also very resistant to scratches, so to be honest, I actually feel quite comfortable using it. I don't feel like I need a case. All things considered, pretty good. So now, let's talk about features. So equipped with an 8-inch 720p IPS display, this thing is reasonably specced out in the display department. I have to say, the display is really nice. Colours are rich, blacks are vivid, they're really punchy and they sort of come out and hit you. The viewing angle's roughly about 160 degrees, so in the middle of the market. And I mean, to be honest, I have to say I couldn't really fault the display. Moving on to the camera though, it's really quite bad. I could definitely fault the camera. I mean, the back is a 2 megapixel shooter and the front is a 0.3. So it really is quite under-specced in this department and will be beaten out by just about any of its competitors. The images it captures are just generally wrong. I mean, this will just about do the job for Skyping, but I mean, it really is not optimal. Having said that, there is a very nice built-in image editor, so if you're using this tablet for some on-the-go editing, you can actually enhance images quite a lot. And if you're really good, to be honest, you could probably even make some of the things you take from this look okay. But it really is a non-serviceable camera. So let's take a little listen to the speakers on offer. Although not dreadful, they really don't stand out. I mean, they're quite high on the treble, low on the bass, and they have no instrumental separation. Now, something which I find really hard to get over is that this actually feels like a computer in your hands, and amongst all its flaws, it really is just an incredible experience which is difficult to describe if you're experiencing it for the first time. There's a ridiculous amount of customization, everything you'd expect from your desktop PC. You've got all those powerful word editing tools, and you know what's even more impressive is this tablet actually comes bundled with a whole year of Office 365. Now that's worth about £50 on its own, so I don't really know what kind of deal they've got here, but it's mighty impressive. You've got full access to all the customization features of a full Windows 8.1 PC, fully being able to arrange your icons, sort out your home screens, and navigate through the rather snappy interface. We've also got swipe from the right to actually open up a quick search bar, and swipe from the left for multitasking. It all works pretty nicely. As impressive as all of this is, sometimes I can't help but feel that this tablet would have just been better with Android. I mean, Windows 8.1 on something this size can sometimes be a bit of a fiddle. I mean, the buttons are quite small, the UI is just a little bit tricky to use, and sometimes it just feels like it's not quite made for this. Most of the Windows apps though are extremely well optimized. They're fast, fluid, and very efficient, such as the calendar, the Pipo, contacts, and most of the built-in Windows apps. They're really quite good. For people who want more control over their device, we've also got control panel and command prompt for advanced users. Now, one gripe that I really do have with this system is that it actually comes with only about a gigabyte free in the 16GB model. It's really not enough and you will need to expand that. Office 365 and all the features of a PC though make this ultra cheap tablet something really quite compelling. So now, let's talk about performance. So nipping through the device in its UI is very snappy. I mean, I can't even understand how they made this Intel Atom chip perform so quickly. Internet browsing is swift, incredibly smooth. It really is just buttery smooth, like using an iOS device like an iPhone 6 or something. And multitasking is all very quick, almost instantaneous. So for day-to-day use, it's actually an extremely pleasant experience. And to be honest, this is one of the few areas where Windows 8.1 really comes into its own. Okay, so good news and bad news when it comes to gaming. The good news is that the Intel Atom chip inside here and the reasonably recent GPU actually perform admirably well, roughly equivalent to most mid-range Android devices of 2015. Now that is a lot of performance coming from something that costs $89, so just over £50 in the UK. So really impressed with the performance. But Windows, I mean, the Windows App Store really is not up to par. It has maybe a 10th or maybe a 20th of the apps that the Android and iOS do, and the updates, they're not coming regularly. The apps take a really long time to install. It's not an intuitive experience to download and play these games. It really just doesn't feel quite right. But the performance itself is pretty good. So in conclusion, I have rather mixed opinions about the Pipo W4. On one hand, it's this Windows device, you can put it in your bag and you've got the power of your PC on the go. It's got great productivity apps, some really nice inbuilt Windows features, fast multitasking, fast gaming. Yeah, on the other hand, it kind of feels like this isn't the right tablet for the operating system. It feels like perhaps items on the display are too small. It feels like the cameras are really not very good. Things like the games on offer are just really poor selection. So in some senses, I actually think this is a really good tablet held back by its operating system. For this price, you'll be very hard pressed to find something with better specifications. However, due to the operating system and the way this tablet is configured, it's going to appeal more to a business user than a multimedia consumer. But if you're into that, then great. Thanks for watching, guys.